Okay, back to the big, beautiful red stone, sandstone house northeast of Delta, about 5 miles from Delta, where we lived until I was 5 years old, until Garth had to start school. He was 15 months older than I. We lived in that house, and Dad's sisters, the oldest, the Nelda, just younger than Dad, Verna and Melba, all lived in the house, and they had rooms on the second floor of the house. I remember going down the hallway and seeing these beautiful pictures of Dad's sisters in the ornate frames about 18 inches long. They were very beautiful ladies too. But we moved away from there when I was 5, so because Garth, 15 months older, had to start school, but there was no way we could walk to school, and we had just got our first Model T, but I think we got it after we moved down to Delta, and so we moved away from Grandpa and Grandma's, and then they sold the place and put it, I think I'm repeating myself, they sold the place, put the money in the bank, at Sevier Valley Bank, and they closed their doors on it the next day. And Grandpa's and Dad's money was gone.
Mm-hmm.
But the family got together and bought Grandma and Grandpa a little house, just about 2 blocks away from where the school was, actually. And Dad's youngest sister was married to Dudley Kraft, who was the only lawyer in Delta, and they had a house nearby Grandma and Grandpa's. So where do we go from there?
In that big house? In that big house?
No.
In the big house, were there other children or just you guys?
Well, in the big house, I remember the night Betty was born, so she was born there. And Dad's sister Verna had Wayne and I can't remember, they had 2 children. And then the Nelda had Beth, and Melvin Dudley didn't have any children there.
And they all lived in that house?
Mm-hmm. We all lived in the big house at
So
that time.
who would do the cooking for that many people?
Well, everybody had their own kitchens.
That was a big house.
Uh-huh.
Really? They all
We
had
had our
kitchens?
own kitchens.
Wow. Okay.
It was a big house.
Wow.
Eventually, I'd been back to the house, seen the big, well, I call it a mansion. It was a mansion. And the porch was big enough that my cousin Beth and she lived on the 2nd floor, and I lived on the 3rd floor. But we could roller skate on the porch. It had concrete floors on the porch, and we would roller skate when we were little girls. Now,
Is it still there?
no, I'm going to tell. That's what you needed to say then. But I've been back and seen it since we had lived there. For many years it was there, but then it just disappeared. And Dad's sister told us that somebody bought it and took it apart, stone by stone, and moved it. And I don't know, and they rebuilt it somewhere completely out of the area. That the stones were valuable enough that you'd gone through all that effort to save them, and it's a beautiful, beautiful place. I've always had the idea that we wouldn't have been living, I mean, we were quite well-to-do. And then when I remember reading this letter recently about Sevier Valley Bank, after that, we were just like everybody else. Everybody was poor during the Depression.